On today's show, Nvidia pulling out of the ARM purchase after regulatory issues, Vapour Chamber names, should Russia be banned from Apple hardware, hidden Apple Silicon eGPU clues, and would I switch to Android for a whole month? Spoilers, no. I'm iChambers Dave and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you, and if you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 1300 UTC, like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. So, the first main story today, Nvidia pulling out of its ARM takeover, telling partners that they don't expect to close the deal. Now, this comes after objections from the FTC, Qualcomm, the UK Competitions and Markets Authority, and some other people too. Softbank is the current owner, and they are preparing for a potential IPO in case the purchase doesn't happen. Now, this is not a sealed deal. It's not saying that it's 100% not happening. It looks like they're both talking to regulators behind the scenes, still to try and get the deal to kind of get over the line. But I'm not holding out much hope. It was $40 billion they were going to pay for this, and obviously the problem is ARM at the minute is a kind of, not an open standard, but a standard that can be licensed by all sorts of different companies. It's not limited to a particular company. However, Nvidia is likely, because they compete with many of the other people that license it, to kind of limit that a little bit. As a result, this seems like unfair business practice, and kind of makes sense. This is a good thing for Apple. It means that it's probably going to stay in the hands of Softbank, and if Softbank are going to do an IPO, then it becomes a publicly traded thing, and it's more likely to stay available to more people, because the more people that can have access to it, the more money Softbank can make from it. Next up, yesterday we told you about the Vapour Chamber possibility for the iPhone 14, and I asked you what you would brand it, and we've had some interesting thoughts in. YouGazzaa has said the iPhone Iceflow Pro. I actually think Iceflow might be the kind of thing they would call it, but with the kind of capital I, capital F, kind of camel case, I think it's called, when you combine two words together like that. That's not a bad shout at all. Robb Lincoln says Hot Boxer. How about Vape-Boy 2000? Or the unpronounceable, vaguely Egyptian symbol, and call it the tech formerly known as Vapour Chamber. I think you know you're being a bit silly here, but I like it, I enjoy it, I'm here for it. Bernz says Moist Cave. Come on, my friend. Moist Cave? I like the fact there's a cave in there, I've got to say that much. And Expresso Mechanic TV says Apple Vapour Chambers, iChambers. Now, that would make a lot of sense, but I think Apple's kind of moved away from doing i products, like they're not naming new things with an I at the beginning. I'd be really interested if they do put an I at the beginning of something, but it's a tricky thing for them to copyright, trademark, etc. at this point. And into your iChambers answers, Marcin Kowalczyk says, at iChambers Dave, iChambers answers, do you think that due to the current geopolitical situation, Russia could be banned from Apple hardware? I'm not quite sure what you even mean by that. How do you ban a country from hardware? Like, not sell it in Russia anymore, not allow it to be used in Russia, somehow geo-fence it out from working in the country? Because surely if you buy an iPhone and you go on holiday there, there's a lot of issues with this. I'm not sure if you mean that maybe Russian software wouldn't be allowed on iPhones. It's very difficult to know, but I don't see Apple taking a stand on this. Apple's job is not government and national security and things, if that's what you mean by this. So I don't think the current geopolitical stuff is really going to make too much difference to Apple. Parkerfile asks, iChambers answers, macOS utility / activity monitor, command key number 4, Apple M1 Max built-in notation in the GPU history tile. Does this mean that Apple has an external GPU in the works for M1? It's possible. I don't think so, though. My best guess on this and what this means would be that this notation is in place ready for potentially the Mac Pro with M1, or M1X, or M1 Max, or M1 Pro Max Pro, whatever they're going to call it, M1 Ultra, M1 Extreme, whatever it might be. What I do think it suggests is potentially that there is a possibility of Apple doing an extra GPU card that might go into these Mac Pros. That is an interesting proposition. I'm not 100% sure either way. It could be that they're actually looking at external GPUs, or that they're looking at being able to pair multiple Macs together to work as a single unit, and you would be able to scale that way. Don't know, but that's an interesting proposition. Don't think it's going to be an eGPU. but it could be one of those other things. Josh asks, iCave answers, have you ever used Android, or would you consider trying it for a month? Yeah, actually, I have used Android in the past. It was my work phone about 5 years ago. I had a Galaxy, it was a Samsung Galaxy A6, I think. So it wasn't like a flagship phone, but you still get to see what Android is like. And I just didn't like the way it feels. I don't like the way that you get to stuff, the way that the Google Play Store works, the, like, much more complex stuff going on in settings. It's just, nothing's easy about it. And it's not about the hardware I was using. It's not about the cameras, which did in fact suck on this particular phone. Like, I was able to put an SD card inside it, which was, you know, fine. But then you have to manage whether stuff's on the SD card or on your internal storage, and that's a bit of a pain. Like, I like the fact that iPhones just work the way that they do. I wouldn't want to use Android for a month, especially not as a daily driver, because I just find them unpleasant. But yeah, I have used it in the past. I feel like I've given it a chance. And that's it for today's really short show. We have got another question that's coming from Sharon B, which is about Marques Brownlee's video on iMessage stuff. I haven't actually watched it yet, so I'm going to watch that. That will be in tomorrow's show. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.